Hello everyone, and welcome to Pécs, to the headquarters of ODE, the Hungarian National Association of Youth Theatre, as you can see. And today, in the next 40-45 minutes, we're gonna speak about the situation in Hungary regarding the youth theatre. I have two guests today. Anikó Fekete, who is a member of the board of the ODE, and she holds some other positions, but she will inform you about these in time. And György Vidovsky, or Vido, as his badge says, because many of you from EDERED already know him, who is a director and the former president of ODE. And my name is Tamás Jászai. I'm a journalist, theater critic, also member of the board of the ODE. And today, in these 45 minutes, we're going to discuss three topics, if we can say that. First, I'm going to have a conversation with Gyuri. Then, with Vido, okay, anyway. Then Anikó will present or will give you a crash course on ODE, so a very short introduction to our activities. And you will be participants or spectators of a very special premiere, because in the last months we've been working on the new website of ODE, and you will be the first to see it. So there will be a short presentation, and it will close this, well, not evening, but this event. Okay, so, okay, let's start with Vido. Can you just tell us a few words about how and why did you get in contact with youth theatre? You were a teacher at a high school, and then at one point you decided to start directing pieces for students, or how did it happen, if you can remember that?
I don't know how interesting that might be for others, but probably many of youth theatre makers ended up being in this business accidentally. So just probably you met someone, or you accidentally ended up being in a school which dealt with drama, or etc. And I accidentally, that happened to me accidentally too. So that means that I was not interested in theater at all, and I was not interested in teaching at all. So that was the two things was pretty much excluded of my
that sounds
future
an
view.
ideal start.
Yeah, this is a good start, and I met someone who invited me to school to his youth theatre production, which I was trying to avoid to see, but in the end he was forcing me to go there, and this is how it's basically started. I was not familiar with anything like that, any kind of activity like that before, and I went to see that show, and basically after that I remained in the school, but I was not a drama teacher. I was trained as a German teacher and literature teacher, so I had nothing to do with that, and I was mainly interested in film. So at the very start I was teaching media in that school, but again another accident or coincidence that at that year, when my first year, a drama teacher just left one of the classes there, and for some reason this friend of mine who invited me to the school, he pointed at me and said that, okay, from September on, you will lead that class, or you will replace this teacher. And he gave me two books, which kind of included drama games, and this is how I got prepared. So I know it's not very, how can I say, good background to start being a drama teacher, but obviously I haven't started that class on my own, with some of my colleagues were there too, and this is how slowly, and in our school we basically make productions every year. So I had to somehow learn how to direct a production, and it worked quite well. Anyway, I was really taken by this whole movement, what youth theatre meant, and I was taken by the whole concept of how we can teach young people, and I was wishing that I had something like that in my childhood, in my youth. So basically the whole 17 years of being a drama teacher was all about that, giving something to young people which I wish to have experienced before, which I had never had the chance to. And so this is how it started. And so this is the short story of
Okay, when are we in time? I mean, mid-90s, am I right? When you
that.
start?
Yeah, it was mid-90s, yeah, so a long time ago. 30 years ago, approximately.
Yeah, almost 30 years ago. That time, ODE already existed as a fresh and young drama teacher or an accidental drama teacher. How did you get acquainted with ODE? So how did you first hear about this organization? I suppose it was because of the competitions, the regional or the national festivals, right?
Yeah, and again, that ODE at that time, so the office of ODE, offices ODE, that organization happened to be in that school. So I was basically directly involved. First, just an observer. I have seen how the next festival was organized, and then later as participant as well with our productions. So this is how I came across with that. And a few years later, I mean in 1998, I think, so really a few years later, somehow, again, accidentally, someone has offered that what if you can take it over and maybe you can, you know, everyone already in Hungary of the youth theater makers, among the youth theater makers, so why don't you just take it over and lead and be the president, which means this is a volunteer job. We all do that voluntarily. I think it is still like that today. It is just an extra job organizing festivals and other events, workshops for young theater makers.
There is a very special reason why we who are members or connected somehow to the youth theater movement in Hungary, we are especially proud of you, Vido, because Vido is among, well, I don't know if there are any other directors in the so-called professional theater who began their work in the youth theater, because if I am right, you are the only one, or almost the only one. Would you give us a little background for this? So how did this happen? And okay, not the dates and times and stuff like this is important, but some might feel that there's a wall between the youth theater and the so-called professional theater, and you broke down this wall in a way.
Yeah, again, it is not on purpose, really. So it just all happened. So in our festivals, usually professional theater makers come to see the shows, and they kind of as jury members, and they discuss the productions with the youth theater participants, so the actors, the young actors, as well the drama teachers. This is what happens in every festival. So this is how I came across with some professional theater makers, and they have seen our productions or my directions, let's say, and one of the theaters has decided wanted to put on stage a well-known Hungarian novel called Wall Street Boys. Probably some of you have heard about it. This is a cult novel in Hungary, and in that the main characters are young people, I mean boys of the teenagers, and only a few adult actors. And that theater, Barca Theater, I can name it, thought that I probably will be the right person to direct a show like this, because I work with young people who professional theater maker are really scared of putting them on stage because they don't know how to direct them. And they were hoping that I can direct adult actors too. And this is what we made a show like this. But I thought it was just one go, I mean, one occasion. And then sometime later, I directed another one of that kind of The Lord of the Flies, you know, so. And so on, I mean, so, and all happened, and nowadays it's obviously, it's quite different. So at the moment I'm directing One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, completely other production in a big theater where he is from, Tamás is from, so after that I will drive there, 3 hours drive, to another South Hungarian city, because I have rehearsals from 7. So
Okay. Did you ever feel any, I don't know, advantages or disadvantages working in a professional theater with your background? What is your experience?
Look, it's very different if someone goes to the Academy of Theatre, is a trained actor or trained director, partly because of the connection, the network, that that person is already embedded in the theatre life. And this obviously gives these people only a chance to be part later in theatre, depending on their talent and many other aspects. But obviously someone who has no background like this and treated for many years, okay, you are just a youth theatre maker, you know, so you're not really one of us. It's quite hard at the very beginning, but and that's why I really never believed that this is going to be my profession, so this is what I will carry on. I was happy to do these projects, let's say, or productions for a while, and slowly it has changed in a way, so now I think most of the people don't even know that. Where I was coming from, some people would sometimes ask, which Academy of Theatre class did you go? And I said, no, I never went there, so. Oh, okay. So anyway, so it's not anymore. It's not a problem anymore. Of course, I will never forget that, which means I have doubts in myself all the time whether I'm really suitable to do this kind of things, and there are many millions of questions, and probably I still have a mindset how to make productions. The way we made productions with young people. So I like more the community theater, so I don't like just, how can I say?
Well, just to give instructions to the act. You do this, you do that.
Yeah, exactly. So you can do that, of course, you can learn, and if that's the task, then you know, you can deal with that. But I really like when we together can create something and we have a relationship with the actors as a team, and we can work as a team and basically devise together something, even if we have the source material, let's say a play or a novel, whatever, but we devise and we can not only discuss but try out different ideas. And I'm still missing the freedom which I used to have in youth theatre. So obviously in professional theatre, sometimes because it's all belong to a theatre, they want to sell tickets. So you can, I mean, lots of people are braver, much braver than I am, but I feel that I cannot be that brave and not that free every single time as I wish to be. When we made youth theatre, we perform it 2 or 3 times. I don't know how is it with you guys, but most of the times, the production is basically mainly about the process and not the result. And even if it is really nice, it's you don't need to kind of respect the novel. Let's say you work on, you do whatever you want. You create as many roles as many students you have in that group, etc. And that kind of freedom, I'm really missing, and I'm trying to kind of put back in small elements in most of the productions, if I can.
Okay, 2 more questions to you before we go to next step or the next level. About another accidental thing in your life. Accidentally, you became the president of the ODE at one point.
Yeah,
It was the end of the 90s, if I remember well. And I think the most important thing during your presidential term was that you established the international connections of ODE. So there was its part was an EDERED meeting in Hungary in 2002, if I'm right. Some of you have been there, if I heard it well. Okay, so it's a very naive question, but why someone decides to hours? Why was it important to you?
It actually started a little bit earlier. So I think 1995, correct me, when was the Ankara meeting? Ankara Youth Theatre Encounter, or 1996, I can't remember which year, probably 1996 was that. So we got an invitation for that previously, but we had no idea what that was, what was supposed to be about. So on fax, arrived some invitations letter, and you barely could read what was written there, and they were looking for some animateurs and supervisors and that kind of things. We had no idea, but we sent 10 students of Hungarian students anyway. And since I took a little bit English that time, so I was sent, let's go to Ankara and discover what the whole hell is that about. And again, I just fell in love with this whole movement and all the possibility. I realized that this is just amazing. So after that, I was willing to participate in the next upcoming encounters, sometimes as workshop leader and sometimes as just kind of observer, the people, the important people you have to feed at the end of the encounter. You are turning up and checking out the result of your work. And so I was one of those for years, and I really, really loved that. So obviously it was quite a clear decision that we should try to organize one of those encounters. So in 2002, we have organized one in very different circumstances, and I'm not saying it was perfect. There were lots of mistakes, but we were all amateurs as well. But I think it was not only an important event or element of our life, but probably for others too.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I think it's quite clear what EDERED gives to the youth, to the students. But that might be a tricky question. So what EDERED gives to an organization like Odesso? What can it give to us? Or
I think it's hard to say as an organization, because obviously we are talking about individuals. So, but somehow probably the way of thinking which comes through that you meet lots of, and as participants, I mean students as well. I think that. But I'm telling you guys, that already. And for instance, with Inguna, we have been together for 25, I will say less, but long time, let's say. Okay, Békés Csaba, a long time ago. So, but of course we know that how much it can mean for young people and I was just describing that, for instance, the first time when we went in Ankara, that was quite close to our, just nearly after our political changes in Hungary. So for that time, for young people to be able to participate equally with West European kids, it was such a big deal. So to understand that we can be equal, we are not just secondly treated part of Europeans. You know what I mean? And and nowadays, I would say it's again different. It is streamed, isn't it? Yeah. Okay.
Be careful.
So it's important again.
Okay, the perfect closing sentence. Thank you very much, Gyuri. And now the floor is yours, Aniko, and please give us a crash course on what is ODE today. Oh yes, there's one important gesture I forgot. Just a second. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, thank you very much. Welcome all. I'm Aniko. I'm a drama teacher and a creative music teacher in an artistic secondary school. And I'm a researcher and a professor in a university. When I was 11, I started to go to a student theater group in Győr. It was a very formative period for me, and I went for 10 years. And nowadays, I work in an organization, Hungarian National Association of Youth Theatre, in Hungarian Országos Diákszínjátszó Egyesület. The short form is ODE. And I have been working here for 10 years. But what is the ODE? Yeah, I was born in 1988, and the organization was founded 1989. So I think the ODE is my younger brother or my younger sister, maybe. Klára Illés, László Kaposi, and Zoltán Breyer founded the organization. We have had 10 presidents so far. Nowadays, the president is Zoltán Tóth, Zoli. He is Zoli with laptop and in a white T-shirt. And he works hard to create opportunities for the student theater groups and for the student theater leaders, directors. We work as a team, and we have many programs in a year. For example, pedagogical courses, regional festivals, national festival, drama camp, gala, EDERED, and we work on a website. So I said that we work as a team where everyone has a job, what to do. Zoltán is responsible for every task. Yes, for every task. I am responsible pedagogical courses, regional festivals, drama camp, gala, and EDERED. Richie Balla isn't here, but he is responsible regional festivals, national festival, drama camp, and gala. Tamás Jászai is responsible pedagogical courses, gala, website, Instagram and Facebook and design. And Claudia is responsible for EDERED. We have 3 active courses. Basic skills in student theater directing course, creative music course, creative dance course. And we organize for teachers and for the student theater group leaders, directors. These are 30 and 60 hours, maybe 1 or 2 weekends, accredited, blended courses, teacher training. We have 7 regions in our country. All regions organize festivals for student theater groups. And 1 or 2 performances from each region qualifies to go to the national festival. And usually in April, this year in June, we organize the national festival. Here you can see approximately 20 performances from every region. Professional jury gives constructed feedback to both the students and the student theater group leaders, directors. The students have the opportunity to participate in workshops. Yes, and in August, we organize a drama camp for students who play in a student theater group. Theater professionals working with the students. They work in mixed groups for a week with invited professionals, actors, dramaturgs, choreographers, and directors. We provide extracurricular activities every night, folk night, concerts, and invited performances. In November, we organize gala, and here we present awards to the student theater group leaders, directors, as recognition of their artistic and pedagogical work. And we arrived, the EDERED. We hosted encounters in 1992 and 2002. And we participated, I don't know, maybe you know, when did Hungarians participate at the EDERED? Maybe
This is a riddle or what? Sorry, it's like I don't know what was the first time.
not the first time, I think 1992 or not?
Yes. And what is the question again? So how many times
More,
or
yeah.
how many times? At least.
So if you
And
if you
where?
remember more occasions or more EDEREDs where Hungarians...
I think after 1992 was 1996 Ankara, and then after that at least until 2002. But I have no idea what happened after 2002 when I was gone. So I have no idea really. That means, oh my God, every year. So, because the children, you know, every second year is for youth, and every second year is children. So 1996. 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe 7. I don't know, at least.
Very good.
Is it? Really?
Yes.
Yes. Oh my God. Okay. I'm still up to date. That's good.
Okay, thank you for the answer. So you see, we celebrate the youth theatre all year round. And now, yes, thank you, Zoli. We work on website that collects all the materials and the documents for the 3 decades of Hungarian student theatre groups and drama educations. And thank you. I'll hand it over to Tamás.
Thank you very much, Aniko, and thank you, Zoli, for yeah. So, as I told you before, I try to be quick because I know that it's a hard time now after lunch and coffee and before the next program, so I'll be quick. But actually, we are very proud of this website. And I think, I'm sorry to say that, but that's the truth. We've been working on it for a very, very long time, and there are many people who participated in the whole thing. It's, of course, it's in Hungarian, but we do plan to prepare you know, a shortened or a minimalistic version in English as well. And if everything goes right, in June, during the EDERED meeting in Pécs and Orfű, it will be available. So anyway, and I think it's very important what Aniko already told us, that we felt the need to show that, you know, this movement, the youth theater movement in Hungary, it's not like, I don't know, a private matter for 2 people. It's a very important part of the Hungarian performing arts scene, though the professionals may not think like this, but still we are very proud of this movement. Very quickly, if you go to our new website, which is not active yet, you can see different menus. I will tell you all the secrets if it works. Okay, so what is ODE? Hopefully it works. Yeah, what is ODE? Here you can see the former presidents who founded it. What is ODE? But you are already very good from what is ODE after Aniko's presentation. What is this organization? What are the main goals or basic goals of ODE? Then what else? There's a menu on the former presidents of ODE. You might find some familiar names like László Kaposi. Yeah, there should be a photo of him. Anyway, just imagine it. No. Yeah, it's him drinking a beer. Yeah, finally. Okay, he's the lucky guy. And there's a short summary of each presidential term. And I would love to show what we wrote about Gyuri, but no, we won't watch it this time. It stays a secret now. Yeah. But I think it's very, very important to, to remember our traditions and where do we come from. We made another list, if you can say. As Aniko mentioned, we have 7 regions in Hungary, and in each region there are some celebrities who started their work as member of the youth theater movement. So in each region we have a long, long list of people who started their career as a student actor or student director. And well, actually, I'm a professional theater critic, and it's a very good and very exciting list. Really, you can trust me. Okay, don't worry because I won't speak so long, but some other curiosities, if we can say. There was once a magazine called Diákszínház, we can translate it very simply, youth theater, and thanks to Gyuri again, we had the opportunity to scan all the materials. So now everything is online, everything is available, you can read it, you can watch it. I think this is a very special memory of the 90s and the early 2000s. So
it's all
yeah,
sorry, it's all edited
in
Word at my home computer.
Yeah. So it's
nice memories.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very exciting. We made a collection like this because I don't know what is the situation in your countries, but in Hungary, the student theater directors always have a problem. What can we stage? What are those plays that are available, that are exciting for young people, and so on? So we decided to collect Hungarian plays and plays from the world literature and so on. You can download them, you can edit them, and so on and so on, and it will be a big collection. We do have a very important magazine called DPM. It's a short form, but the Drama Pedagogy magazine. It was founded by László Kaposi. Many of you might know him. And we collect here all the articles dealing with student theater or youth theater. There are theoretical articles for researchers, or if someone writes his or her PhD thesis or MA thesis, BA thesis, and so on. And all the articles regarding youth theater are downloadable. So it's a very useful collection. I cannot read it because it's too small. Yeah, in the last decade, we can say many video recordings were born. During our festivals, we have professional recordings of student theater shows. It's a huge collection. No, we won't watch it now, but there is the opportunity. And here you can watch them. Wow, it's really a unique collection. I'm very proud of it. What else do we have? Yeah, we have this festival system. I think some of you in your countries have something similar like this. We have 7 regions. Each region has a regional festival, as Aniko mentioned. We have the national festival as well. And here we try to collect all the programs of the previous festivals. So, for a student or a former student, it's always a good thing to see that, okay, I was there, we had some fun that night, okay, no more words about it, but we enjoyed to be there, and so on and so on. And I think it's also a very unique collection of, and a special slice of theater history. And I forget something very important. As Aniko mentioned, ODE has its special awards. Just a second, yeah. These awards are presented every year to those people, those workshops, those ensembles who work in this field and who reach very important things. We have 3 different awards named after emblematic people, emblematic figures of the youth theater movement. And here you can find the names of the ensembles or names of the persons who get these awards year by year. And the last thing I want to show you, and then the floor is yours if you have any comments or questions. And I'm also very proud of it because, you know, in the 7 regions, we have some workshops, I mean, some high schools and some student theater directors who has been working in this field for decades, really like 2, 3, 4 decades. And they did a lot to celebrate youth theater. So we decided to prepare portraits of them and their schools as well. So we have already like 15 workshop portraits, which covers the whole country. This is the one from Debrecen. Some of you might have been there. And you know, there's, well, I would say it's a study. So it can be used later as for researchers as well. There are footnotes in it, bibliography, there are embedded videos in it. So I think it's a very useful source for anyone who wants to study or you know, who just want to remember what on earth is EDERED and what are we doing. So this is the very basic structure of our new homepage. I think the very official premiere will take place maybe during EDERED, so in June. And we also have 2 other websites, which I don't show you this time, not everything at once. We have a special homepage for festivals. And of course, we have Ode Egyetem, which is Ode University. So these are those accredited pedagogical courses Aniko was speaking about. Yes, I think that's all for now, but I ask my guests here on the stage and there in the darkness, if you have any questions or remarks, or if something, I don't know, wasn't clear, just let us know, because we are here to help. Or if you want to add something.
Congratulations, that's amazing. Really, really amazing. That's what I can say, really. It's such an amazing thing, I think, that in a way it's all collected, it's available, because as you say, you met me in order, so I had these hard copies of this, for instance, this little magazine we used to have for years, but that was with me in my Budapest apartment, so nobody could check them out. So it's good that it is available now, and it's very good, I think. But
Thank you. And yes, and you know, there was, so we circulated an email to all the drama teachers and the student group theater directors. We asked them to send us all the plays or video recordings on, you know, every available material they want to share with the others. And now we have a huge collection of written and video materials, which is, I think, really amazing. So we are grateful for this, for everyone. If you have any questions or comments to our guests, please. Okay. If not, it means that everybody understood everything. And Dia, do we have anything we have to say, or what do you think? Okay, so thank you very much for being here and of course being on the internet. This recording will be available forever now. It will also go to the archives of Ode as well. Enjoy your stay here in Page.
yeah. Enjoy your time in June. Amazing time will be.
Thank you very much.